Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Outdoor Hospitality Weekly. Joined today, as always, by Matt Whittemore. I'm Alex Burkett, and we're going to kind of stay on the marketing side of things. I know we teased this in the last video we put out, kind of diving into our deeper plans to really explode the marketing at Covered Bridge down in the Catskills in New York. And we've really started to see the fruits of those results come out as we've launched some social media giveaways. And really, Matt and I have begun to talk about influencer marketing a bunch. And we wanted to sort of fill you guys in on that conversation and really talk to you about how we're thinking about it, how we're beginning to structure these things, and what the long-term planning is for really growing our social media and our marketing through this effort. So, Matt, why don't you were kind of the one who kind of brought this into the fold as we begun to talk about this. Why don't you dive in a little bit on what sort of attracted you to influencer marketing, and we can sort of dive deeper from there.
Yeah, really, really good question, and appreciate the intro there. Quite a few reasons that this was an interesting thing to start experimenting with. I think this will be part of our repertoire going forward on an ongoing basis, and really just trying to tweak it and figure it out and try different things. I'm an Instagram novice, but I use it enough to see how popular of a strategy it is just as a consumer on Instagram. Following the likes of Isaac French and Ben Wolf in this space, I've read about giveaways in the landscape hotel and the glamping space. So you and I have been talking about this for a few months now and strategizing, and we kind of figured that Black Friday would be a really opportune time to try our first giveaway. And that's what we did. We studied different players in the space from Campgrounds. I'd say it's less popular in the traditional campground space. But once you get into lodging and glamping and landscape hotels, it becomes a very, very popular strategy. And it was appealing for me, as an operator of a rustic little campground that doesn't have much revenue as is, as a creative way to drum up a bunch of engagement and new viewers to our website in a way that didn't break the bank. So, we decided to start with just an organic giveaway. No paid boosting or paid ads, no paid collaborations or partners on it. And really the reason for that was really two reasons. Is, we didn't want to spend a bunch of money on it to start, but we also wanted to get a baseline feel for, what kind of performance and results can this have without boosting it in any way. Just a true organic read and baseline, experiment to start with. And now we can tweak things and compare it and contrast and try and get an influencer on board or try and get a brand collaboration on board and see what those things can do for us. So that's kind of the high level. Anything you think I missed there, Alex, you want to jump in with?
That's a really good sort of, I would say summary of kind of our thought process and evolution through that. I mean, as you said, through research and me being in the industry for a while, we kind of chose this time as a really important window in the life of a camper when they're really deciding when they want to book and where we want to really begin to grow momentum, specifically on our Instagram account and our social media and reactivating even email marketing within all of this. There were sort of multiple elements at play here as we were strategizing how we wanted to actually deploy this. And I think a lot of people probably underestimate the amount of research and thought and actual work that goes into a less than 30-second Instagram reel that you might see from a brand out there when you're talking about what you want to give away and ultimately what the result of that what do you want that to look like? And so as we began to kind of chunk that out, we had to really define, what we wanted to offer and what was really worth it in the beginning that would cause, enough of our not only loyal and regular customers to kind of stop and take that pause and time to really engage with the content, but that it would provide that memorable moment for them to share that further with friends and really begin to expand that reach. Ultimately, with the account being less than 1,000 followers, and as you talked about, we were running this solely on organic reach. Just whatever happened on the post happened. We didn't want to spend a dollar on this in addition to what we were already giving away if this wasn't going to work. So it was important for us to sort of really define that offer. And for us, it was, around a $500 sort of ticket item was what we found to be kind of a nice sweet spot and an entry point. That doesn't mean that with, another influencer or a collaboration down the line that amount may not raise. But we just thought, again, to establish that baseline, it wasn't super crazy in amount, but also not a low amount either that would, certainly cause people to stop and take a reaction to it. The other thing that we really spent a lot of time on was what were we asking people to do, and ultimately, what was the desired course of action we wanted them to take. A good sort of adage and phrase that I often hear in marketing circles is like, look, like ultimately when you're putting something out, you want whoever the target person is who's engaging with your content to take the desired action that you want from them. Right, we're leading them and guiding them in a certain way through the messaging, through the creative, through all of the copy and everything that's happening. And yeah, you can start to see that here, on the screen as you're sharing. It certainly, I think, was maybe not as polished as we would have liked on first go around, and I think that speaks to sort of a broader conversation around capturing footage well and really utilizing a lot of the great photography and videography assets and getting some of those external partners out to the property to get the type of shots that I know would ultimately work well. But you can see it's a really, although it looks kind of simple on the exterior and you as a consumer might not think a lot of it, there's a lot here between all of the different steps, between what time to deploy it, what's the type of copy and the steps that are being taken, even, covering you as far as what terms and conditions do you have, what's the giveaway period, how are you going to pick a winner fairly, all of these sorts of things come into play when you're putting this out here. And then, as I mentioned, beginning to sort of deploy it in multiple different ways to engage our audience, not only on our social profiles, but via email and other past customers that we had. All of that was sort of important as we were considering how to relaunch this. So yeah, definitely a lot more complex, and we'll sort of share in a coming video what those results actually looked like, really diving into the insights and kind of breaking apart. Okay, we're sort of a couple weeks out now. We have a great baseline and a nice data set to begin to work off of. Here's what happened, and here's ultimately how we improve it, and what we're going to be looking for the next go around when we launch sort of versions 2, 3, 4, and beyond with this giveaway.
Of course, yeah. Consideration here too was, the current identity of the property. We have 50 RV sites and 23 tent sites currently operating at the property, and one cabin as well. But what we're really known for is the tent camping, and I think that's probably present in our social and web following is probably primarily our tent campers. So we deployed this with that in mind. We chose $500 because $500 is actually quite a bit when it comes to tent camping. It's probably 2 nights in the cabin, but it could be a whole week of tent camping. And then so we started with the grand prize of $500, but then we wanted to incentivize everyone to do it. So we also offered a 25% off discount code for any stay during the 2025 season. So we felt like that would probably compel people to fill it out, because everybody gets that consolation prize no matter what. And then in terms of the ask, we wanted to start with a more complex, more demanding ask as part of the baseline. So we asked everybody to follow on our Instagram account. We asked everybody to tag 3 friends, to like the post, and to fill out the contact form, which goes to our website. So we had a link in bio that goes to the website. And really that was, there's 2 results that we were hopeful for with employing these giveaways in general. And that's how I look at them as, one, we don't have a large Instagram following, and we want to work towards getting a large Instagram following. We have big goals of, tens of thousands of followers, maybe 50,000 followers is a good, big audacious goal. I mean, we want to get to 1,000 this off season. We're at almost 600 after this giveaway, a week ago. But then the other goal, which may be even more important, is filling out that contact form, so that we can then leverage that for email marketing and, some other channels, maybe even some like retargeting and all that down the line. So those were the big things for me. What got me excited seeing people have results with these is they grow their following, but then they also grow their email list. So it's like kind of like an omni-channel, strategy, at least growth strategy. Yeah, we're running it on Instagram, but it also benefits us off Instagram. So,
Right. And I think, good point on that, Matt, as far as, when we sort of added that last hurdle for somebody to fill in the contact form to get that 25% off discount code, that really allowed us to break even from the beginning. In fact, we likely will profit off of this, and what a good giveaway should do, right? We're able to actually make money and fill reservations for 2025 by offering everybody a discount we were willing to give anyways. And then at the same time, also continue to, as you just mentioned, add their email list to our database. They're now added to our social. So we're able to really come at them from multiple different points, and that customer becomes a lot stickier. There's somebody who now is fully engaged and fully bought in. I mean, again, if you as the consumer are willing to follow us, give me your email, and you're even willing to fork over some money from your wallet and do a booking, you've now become, in my mind, a much better candidate for a customer for life. Where now that you've seen sort of 1 or 2 deployments of this stuff, you are going to be somebody who is much more likely and engaged that the next time we do a giveaway, you're immediately going to fill it out. You're automatically going to be curious about what we have to offer. And sort of those effects of doing more giveaways moving forward should just continue to compound as the account grows and grows. So again, a lot of sort of complexity in how we've structured this. But I mean, even already we've had probably close to 40 people fill out that contact form for that 25% off discount, which again, we'll get into a lot more of those results at a later date. But it just goes to show you that even with a high ask in the way that we structured this, and we saw a lot of other creators follow a similar structure and have sort of multi-layered steps for people to follow, it does work. In fact, you're getting down to the smallest percentage of people who are really engaged. They're basically telling you, I want to spend money with you. Give me a discount so I can book. Right. And even if you're only getting a very small subset of your audience, those people are the ones who ultimately are going to give you money, which is what we're trying to distill down anyways.
Right.
So that was certainly a hurdle and something that we were, I would say, cautiously optimistic, but probably nervous about, like, oh, how would this actually affect the results of this? But I think we came away from that going, we were right. People were willing to take multiple steps, and it's something that we'll continue to engage in moving forward.
Right. 100%. And I think a motivator too was, maybe fear is a strong word, but kind of fear of failure. Like we didn't want to look back at this after 2 weeks and say, wow, that got 3 likes and 1 comment and 200 views. I don't think either of us expected it to go viral because we didn't really pull any levers, to catch fire like that. But I think it did better than either of us expected. So yeah, we're excited to share those results, and going through this process and studying this whole strategy has given us a lot of ideas on what levers we can pull, what ways we can tweak the strategy, and we're going to be doing lots of giveaways this year and trying different strategies. We're going to share them all here. We have lots of exciting stuff happening here. We're excited about this whole building in public kind of philosophy. We want to share our learnings as we experience them, and this property is such a perfect example. With the rubber really meeting the road in a lot of ways after a few tough years of getting through the challenging times of fixing up what was a blighted property, and really just getting the marketing going and getting some development going and building our team and all things. So we're going to be sharing it all, and excited to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. As you kind of alluded to, Matt, I think that sort of next chapter with us will sort of allow us to pull a lot of those different levers from micro influencers and people that we can specifically target in New York. Right, these are accounts that typically are less than, let's call it, 10,000 followers, but have extraordinary reach in whatever local market or niche that they serve. So obviously we have great potential for world-class fly fishing and hiking on our property. Obviously being focused in the Catskills in New York is an incredible advantage to connect with a lot of great micro influencers who live, breathe, and stay in that space. And so I think that is sort of an exciting next step for us to continue to really engage those folks. And as we continue to grow and make our presence more known as a brand and a player sort of on Instagram, and as I said in the beginning, really using this as the right time to build momentum in a crucial part of the year for us, as a lot of people begin to plan their summer camping trip for 2025. Not only should we see the impact in revenue in the bottom line, but we should also see the impact on our brand, the connections that we get with different influencers in the space, and ultimately what our accounts, both email, social, web, all things sort of marketing, can really be catapulted by executing well on a good giveaway strategy and putting a lot of this in place and continuing to tweak as we grow. So definitely excited about that and encouraged for the journey that lies ahead.
100%. Likewise, man. Appreciate all your help on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, cool, guys. I think that wraps up today. As we mentioned, we will have a part 2 coming soon, diving into really all of the data from this. We'll go into what our engagement was, what the type of monetary results we saw from this, and really, what we've gathered and learned from this, and what we wanted to tweak and see improvements on moving forward. So stay tuned for that video, and we will see you guys here next time for another great episode. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Alex.